Guys, boy Benny. I live a pretty clean life. I don't like going to the doctor. I don't take any prescription pharmaceuticals or anything like that. I tend to be very healthy, but let's say I went in, got a bunch of scans done. The doctor saw that I had cancer, really bad cancer. But instead of telling me about it, just sort of let it all play out, right? So I have terminal cancer, and the doctor just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna let it ride, and we might ruin his day if we tell him. So we should just kind of like let him go. And then I wind up, obviously, in the hospital, and on my deathbed, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? This is really bad. I would be, you would sue them for medical malpractice. That's what you do in that situation, right? It's unspeakable, and it's against the actual oath that a doctor swears when they're here to treat you and to make you healthy and make you better and to do no harm, right? Hippocratic oath. Do no harm is also technically the oath of the Secret Service as it pertains to people that are trying to attack the President of the United States. Presidents have been harmed, obviously. JFK was shot and killed. Ronald Reagan got shot, too. Thankfully, he lived. So bad people do bad things, even if you're under Secret Service protection. But the goal should be to create a system where those bad things can be stopped in the best possible, way, right? In the most sophisticated way, and in a way that like stops the most bad guys from getting at our protectee. Like, for instance, let's say if the Secret Service knew that there was a threat to Trump's life that was within scope range of Donald Trump, like a football field, like from one football field to the other, the end zone to the end zone. And that person had a firearm, and that person was able to shoot the firearm at Donald Trump and then did nothing. Would you be able to, let's say, sue for malpractice? Yeah, you should. And that's exactly what we've learned happened with President Trump. We are now learning, according to the texts from the local sniper team, because the Secret Service won't give us any information, that they were aware of Thomas Crooks for 90 minutes before the shooting. Now, this matches with what snipers have told us, that they saw Thomas Crooks and they thought it was an Antifa member. That they followed Thomas Crooks around. And you can actually literally see the texts here in this article. Somebody followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars. These are from the snipers. I'm just letting you know, in case you see me out with my rifle, putting in my cars, you guys are up there on the picnic table about 50 yards from the exit. Thomas Crooks was stalking the police officers, seeing where they were set up, so he could find a place to shoot Trump without their notice. This, by the way, was 4:26. President Trump was shot at 6:11 p.m. That is 90 minutes. Kid leering around the building we are in, AGR, which is the glass company, manufacturing company, where the shooter shot from. I believe it is. I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards the stage, FYI, if you want to notify Secret Service snipers. Lost sight of him. With the photos of the shooter, Thomas Crooks. So, hold on. Secret Service did nothing? Secret Service did nothing while the snipers are seeing Thomas Crooks leering about the building, wandering about the building. We have video after video of Thomas Crooks crawling over the rooftops, legitimately stalking the location to shoot President Trump from. And they did nothing? This is extremely strange, and also something that has been extremely strange that was brought up in a recent interview with ABC News, of all places, was the sniper teams saying that they had no communication with the Secret Service. Now, we knew that because we went to the location and spoke with snipers that day. And they said the Secret Service didn't have any communications for them. Now, this is insane because the Secret Service runs this entire operation. The Secret Service runs any protective area with the president. So why wouldn't they be able to speak with the local police teams that are there to help him? Listen.
I remember standing in the parking lot talking to one of the guys, and we just became part of history. Not in a good way.
The SWAT team from Beaver County, Pennsylvania knew something about the scrawny young man seemed off. He can be seen in this video obtained by ABC affiliate WTAE skulking around former President Trump's rally. Text messages between local snipers show they noticed Thomas Matthew Crooks at 4:26 p.m., nearly 2 hours before the attempted assassination that would injure Trump, kill a man, and severely hurt 2 others. "You see me go out with my rifle," one of the snipers texted, "so he knows you guys are up there." By 5:14 p.m., they grew suspicious.
He was looking up and down the building and just wandering around, and it just seemed out of place.
Greg Nichols snapped these photos of the shooter.
We had a text group between the local snipers that were on scene. I had sent those pictures out to that group and advised them of what I noticed and what I'd seen.
What do you think is transpiring once you send in what you've sent in?
I assumed that there would be somebody coming out to, speak with this individual or, find out what's going on.
So how do you know if Greg's concerns about crooks are being relayed properly?
We don't. We have to assume that when he put that information out to command, that command took that information and did something with it. We don't know if they did.
None of the concerns appears to have reached members of Trump's Secret Service detail. The Washington Post reports they've complained they were never made aware of the warnings. In their first public comments about the assassination attempt, members of the Beaver County SWAT team described to ABC News what they consider to be failures of planning and communication that would prove catastrophic.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
Did you just hear that? They said they have no communication with the Secret Service. Now, how the hell are you supposed to defend and protect a massive, wide open field where you are allowing people to walk? I mean, I know this because we were just there. You are allowing people to walk right up within 80 yards of President Trump on stage without any security, without any metal detectors or anything. How are you supposed to defend that? Period. Doesn't matter if you had perfect communication, but with no communication from your law enforcement teams. This is suicidal. It gets worse.
You had no communication with the Secret Service at all on that Saturday?
No, not until after the shooting, I believe. Yeah.
And by then?
It was too late.
The Secret Service declined to respond directly, but told ABC News the agency is committed to better understanding what happened and is offering complete cooperation with ongoing investigations.
The suspect is directly above us.
Members of the Beaver County SWAT team rushed to the shooter's rooftop.
There's a ladder right here.
As seen in footage from Rich Gianvito's helmet camera.
Thanks, bro. Yep. So we had access through that ladder, got up onto the roof.
And as you're scrambling onto that roof, you don't know for sure whether he's dead or alive, or whether you'll encounter fire.
At that point, no.
So what are you prepared? Are you prepared for a firefight at that point?
Well, we're prepared for anything at that point, because at this time we're unsure.
Give me a solid perimeter. Get guys prepped to clear the building.
He encountered the shooter's bloodied body some 400 feet from the stage.
We're clear.
The team believes it did everything it could have to thwart the attack, but accepts its share of failure.
I think we all failed that day.
How so?
Life was lost.
Yeah. People died. And if there's anything that we could have done to stop that, we should have done.
Dude, you know what? It's amazing how that local cop just said, this guy right here, just said more and took more responsibility than the entire Secret Service with their billions of dollars in budget and their 8,000 different Secret Service agents. This one local guy is willing to say, like, yeah, you know what? We failed. The Secret Service set up a kill box for President Trump. Just a couple things off the top of my head. I know I've said these things before, but it's very important. Why wasn't anybody stationed on the water tower? A reminder, the Secret Service is the agency that places the protection teams. The water tower would have overseen the rooftop right there where Thomas Crooks fired on President Trump. It makes no sense that nobody was on the water tower. Why did nobody confront Thomas Crooks on the roof?
Of blood from Thomas Crooks still visible on the building where the assassin was able to shoot directly at President Trump from this exact position. You can see right there in the field, that's where President Trump is. I'm just on iPhone magnification.
I mean, we've stood there. So don't come for us, right? And say that we don't know what we're talking about. We've been there. Unlike everybody else who wants to spout off about this, we actually walked up to these fence lines, and you can see how close it is to President Trump. This fence line was totally unsecure. You could have walked up to that fence line with anything you wanted and done anything you wanted to the protectee. And nobody secured it. No drone use, no communications. Like, at what point do you stop and ask, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and say, is there a conspiracy against President Trump here?
Air Command did not consider him to be a threat, yet people in the crowd knew he had a gun and considered him to be a threat. That means that you are a complete failure as the director of the Secret Service, that people under your command don't perceive a man laying on a roof with direct line to the president with a gun. They don't perceive that to be a threat, yet the people in the crowd do. How is that possible?
That's the last question, but please answer the question, Ms. Director.
I'm not certain at this time how the information from the people in the crowd was relayed to any law enforcement personnel.
No, you knew, that everyone knew. The people there knew that there was a danger. They knew there was a threat to President Trump, and it was allowed to happen. Was there a stand-down order, Ms. Cheadle? Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
Then how did this happen? And why are you still sitting here not turning in your letter of resignation?
Last question, but please answer, and then I'll recognize Ms. Presley. Please answer the question, Director.
That is what we are investigating to determine.
Something doesn't smell right. Something's fishy, man. Something's fishy. Again, the doctor just let you die of cancer when he knew you had cancer and saw it and knew where it was and didn't say anything. You'd have a big fat malpractice suit. So who's going to be put in jail for these arguably far worse crimes? Either way, life-threatening crimes, both of them. That's the question. Question we're asking here on this channel. Stay tuned. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.